Alright guys, ask about my powder coat setup, or if I show the powder coating on these Delta brackets. Nothing spectacular here. I thought I would share it with you very quickly. This is my little homemade spray booth, and I'm just now starting to use this, and like everything else, this is a work in progress. So I've just got basically a box. In behind I've got a place for a fan. I don't have this permanently mounted yet, so I don't have the fan mounted. There'll be some changes along the way. But anyway, I've got my brackets hung here. We're hung from a piece of conduit, which is my ground. For a powder coat setup, I'm using an Eastwood thing. Let me aim it down here so you can see it. And this is just the Eastwood's dual voltage powder coat system. I have made a couple of modifications to it. It's on this fancy little stand that I built for it. And it's got a cheapy momentary foot control. So I've disabled the button that you would normally push, and I've got this foot control down here. This is just a momentary switch on it. So that goes there like that. When it's energized like that, that runs current through it. So hopefully we've got someplace where you can see guns hanging on the outside. We're spraying these with a gray. And let's see if everything's going to reach so that everybody's got a view of it. I've already got my oven heating up, and this bakes at 350 for 10 minutes once it reaches flow temperature. So we should be able to power it. I scrubbed these down with soap and water real good earlier. Washed them down with acetone and then hot soapy water. Just scrubbed them so that they were pretty clean, so that they were really clean. There's the first one. Okay, there we are. That's all there is to it. They'll see where we're at temperature-wise on the... Yeah, we're at 340 already on the oven. So let me just take this handheld. Hopefully I won't make you sick, and we'll look at the look at the powder coat of them because I don't have a good place to set the tripod. Okay, this is my oven. I realize I'm a little close to see anything, but we've got the control box here, PID controller, set for 350 degrees right there, and it's on a timer, so I can actually walk away from this after it's baking and it'll shut off. Let me see if I can open it up. I've got a setup flaw here. I've got my little conduit extends too far out. Well, this is a small view of the insides. Got heating elements on both sides. It's all insulated and all that good stuff. And hang things from the top. So I'm going to go ahead and move them in here and hang them since we're to, let's see, we were to 340 something and now we're dropped all the way down to 313. So let me get these hung in here and we'll bring you back in a bit. Alright, well it's at 345.8 right now. It was up to about 355, and when I only run it intermittently like this and open and close the doors, it tries to find itself, why it'll shoot over by 8-10 degrees or and then drop down underneath. So and it's recovering pretty quickly. We're back up to 348. So we're going to pop it open. We just now had flow out of the powder. So that's what they look like when they're flowed out. And now we'll just close it back up and we'll leave it set for 10 minutes. And see, we've dropped down to 330, so it'll start recovering now. I'll actually wait until it hits about 340 or 345, although since we've reached flow out now, it's not going to make a whole lot of difference. And they say 10 minutes. I leave it for 10 or 15, so just so it cures. You don't want to overshoot temperature too much, otherwise it just burns the crap out of everything. But if you stay within the recommended temperature, and normally the powders will run, the powders I use anyway, any place from 350 to 400 degrees, is about what I usually run. 400 degrees is kind of the upper limit of what I like to have a curing temperature on the powder, because if you do any more than that, because if you hold it within about 400 degrees is your limit and overshoot it a little bit, you're not going to change the temper on anything that's actually a important structure like airplane components or something like that. So anyway, we'll let that cure for 10 minutes. I'll pull it out and rehang them again so they can dry out or cool off, and then we'll show you the final results. Alright, well they're still a little warm, but I think we can probably so here's the finish we end up with on them. I didn't get real carried away with finishing them out to any certain degree, but all in all, that'll work really well. Those will make a nice hanger there. There's the other one. So, now I've got my countershaft brackets. Now I'm going to have to build the carriers for the shaft and the pulleys to go through. I think we'll do some sort of a bearing conversion for those, and do that. I'm not in a big hurry. I'll probably, since I'm going, I'll figure out what bearings I'm going to put in, and then I'll go ahead and make a pattern for the carriers in there and go ahead and cast the carriers too. We've done this much, so doing that, I'm kind of figuring out the process for pulleys. We'll probably do a cast aluminum pulley and need 2 of those. So anyway, that's what we got. So hopefully you found that a little bit interesting, those that were inquiring about my powder coat process. So at some point in time, once I finish my little spray booth here and get everything set up and dialed in, we'll do a tour of that, and I'll give you a fairly in-depth of my setup there. But anyway, that's what we got. Hopefully you find it interesting. Comments, suggestions, leave in the comment section for me below. As always, guys, thanks for taking the time to watch.